All right. Well, once again, I certainly welcome you to our gathering this evening. I'm happy that you've joined me for this no strings attached information session to learn more about an exciting opportunity to travel to Israel. It is, as I've discovered, the trip of a lifetime. Have you ever wondered what it would have been like to be a shepherd on the Bethlehem hillside when angels appeared, or to see Jesus step into the Jordan River to be baptized by John, or to witness the miracle of the loaves and the fishes? What would it have been like to be in the boat when Jesus spoke and calmed the storm, or to be in that Palm Sunday procession down the Mount of Olives? Imagine what it would have been like to watch and pray with Jesus in Gethsemane, or to see the empty grave where the Savior was raised to life. Although going back in time is not possible, you can go where the events of the Bible took place, the Holy Land. For sure, such a trip can bring the Bible to life in amazing and unexpected ways. It can inspire a passionate faith and Christian living. It can enrich the preaching and teaching of pastors and lay leaders alike. It can energize the call to ministry, whatever that might be. And it can also enhance a knowledge and understanding of the contemporary culture and issues in Israel today. I'm happy to invite you to experience Israel in a most remarkable way. The Holy Land Classic Tour is planned for May 16th to the 25th next year, 2023, less than 1 year from today. This is a tour that is actually arranged by Educational Opportunities, a premier travel agency that has focused on Christian tourism for almost 50 years. I first hosted a tour with EO in 2008 with a group of 48 people who went on a 10-day trip to Israel with me. I've also led groups with EO to Turkey and Greece, to Germany, Austria, and Italy. They are an exceptional, reliable Christian travel agency. The Holy Land Tour that we're speaking of will take you to all the places where the major events of the gospel occurred 2,000 years ago. From Caesarea on the coast of the Mediterranean to Capernaum on the shores of Galilee, from the heights of the Mount of Olives to the basin of the Dead Sea, from Bethlehem to Jerusalem, from the shepherd's field to the garden tomb. There are trips to Masada and Qumran and Hezekiah's tunnel. There's opportunity to experience baptism in the Jordan River and communion in Gethsemane. It is an amazing adventure. Just watch this film. Good.
From Egypt to the Promised Land, from the Golan Heights to the Red Sea, from the Galilee to Jerusalem, this is the Holy Land, presented by Educational Opportunities Tours. Walk in the footsteps of Jesus, discover the foundations of your faith, and see the stories of the Bible come to life. Explore the sites central to Jesus' ministry, like Capernaum, the Mount of Beatitudes, the Sea of Galilee, and the Jordan River. View the land from multiple perspectives, on the Mount of Precipice in Nazareth, at Megiddo and Mount Carmel, and from Masada in the Judean desert. Walk the paths of your faith in Bethlehem, on the slopes of the Mount of Olives, and on the streets of Jerusalem's Old City. Experience the sights central to Christ's Passion in the Garden of Gethsemane, along the Via Dolorosa, and at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, as you take communion at the Garden Tomb.
Each day seems to be a new favorite. Several days ago, we visited the Garden Tomb, and what an experience to see the tomb in the original form, and then to have a communion right there. Very moving service.
There's so many places that we have been there in Jerusalem that we have read about for years, and just having the connection of our reading and actually seeing and going to those places and walking the places that Jesus has walked really has been a spirit-filled trip for both of us.
Immerse yourself in the culture. Pray beside locals at the Western Wall. Seize the chance to engage in contemporary issues from different faith perspectives. Dine in the home of local families and listen to leaders discuss the modern political situation. Discover the natural wonders of the Dead Sea, the old harbor at Caesarea, and the natural fortifications of the Kidron Valley.
This trip has been by far the most amazing trip I've ever been on. I've learned far more than I thought I would.
We have been amazed at how secure we feel and how safe and how wonderful the trip has been.
It's been a great trip, so you should come if you get a chance.
Feel at home as you enjoy first-class hotel stays, delicious meals, and comfortable transportation. Learn more as our trained and certified guides take you deeper into the history of your faith. We also include an exclusive mini-series hosted by Dr. Luker, a professor of Hebrew Scriptures. Return home with a refreshed faith, new perspectives, and experiences to share. This is the Holy Land, presented by Educational Opportunities Tours. Learn more about this journey of a lifetime at www.eo.travel.
Well, let me highlight for you our itinerary for those 10 days. Day 1, a flight from Philadelphia to Tel Aviv. It's generally an overnight flight, which will bring us to Israel, where we will be shuttled to Tiberias and our hotel on the shores of Galilee. Our first day of touring will feature locations including Capernaum, the Mount of Beatitudes, a boat ride on the Sea of Galilee, and baptisms at the Jordan River. Day 4, we will visit the towns of Cana and Nazareth and the ancient cities of Megiddo and Caesarea. Day 5 takes us to the spectacular ruins of Beit Shean and Qumran, where the Dead Sea Scrolls were found. Day 6, we begin in Bethlehem to see the Shepherd's Field and the Church of the Nativity, transferring then to Jerusalem and a visit to the Holocaust Memorial. Day 7, we'll be visiting the Mount of Olives, observe communion in Gethsemane, visit the upper room, and traipse through Hezekiah's tunnel. Day 8, you can rest, or you can join an optional tour to Masada and go swimming in the Dead Sea. Day 9, we will walk the Via Dolorosa, visit the Temple Mount, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, and have communion at the Garden Tomb. Day 10, we head home, exhausted, but with 1,000 wonderful memories. Now, I should say that there are as well several additional add-on extensions to Jordan and to Egypt. This information is included in the travel brochure, and I can speak to you about these if interested, but tonight I'm really focused on the main trip to Israel. Let me tell you the details here of this tour package. The price on this 10-day trip will be $3,896. I'll talk more about that in a moment, with ways to reduce the cost. But let me first say that the price covers round trip airfare from Philadelphia. EO will handle all aspects of securing our flight reservations. First class hotels are included. We'll stay several nights in the Galilee region and then several nights in the Jerusalem. Your price includes a substantial breakfast buffet and dinner buffet each day. Lunch will be at your own expense in local restaurants that are part of our tour. Deluxe motor coaches will transport us. We'll be traveling each day in modern air-conditioned motor coaches. Guided sightseeing is included. EO will provide us with an exceptionally skilled tour guide who will accompany us each day and explain and interpret the things that we are seeing. All entrance fees are covered. A Bible study guide is going to be provided to you as well, a printed resource that will supplement what we learn from our tour guide. And there will be opportunities for worship. This is actually my responsibility. Each day we'll have opportunities for worship at various locations, as well as nightly devotions and feedback sessions. Now, there are several things which are not included in the price, namely transportation to and from Philadelphia. Now, let me mention to you that you can choose to fly from a different location than Philadelphia and meet up with us in Israel, but that could change your basic price. $38.96 is the price to fly to Israel from Philadelphia. Also not included, as mentioned previously, lunches each day will be your own expense. Also, gratuities for the guide and driver. Many of you who have been on trips before know that this is often the case. A gift of appreciation is given to our guide and driver. Travel insurance would be your own expense. This is optional, but you'll have to decide whether or not you need to secure travel agent insurance either through EO or through your own means. And of course, souvenirs. I'm not paying for anybody's souvenirs. That's going to be up to you. Well, let's go back to that cost of $38.96 per person. Obviously, this is significant, and it will prevent some folks from participating. But there are some ways in which this cost can be reduced, namely early registration discounts. If you register by June 16th, in just a few more weeks, if you register by June 16th, there is a $150 discount that will be applied to your final payment. There are smaller discounts at later registrations, as you can see. If you wait until October 16th to register, your discount is only $50. Obviously, the sooner you register, the better. Now, there are also scholarships offered through the American Baptist Home Mission Society. I've been in touch with them over the most recent days, and these are available only to ABC USA clergy who are in the professional registry. Now, I know this will be only a select number of people, but if you're one of them, you want to listen up. These scholarships are available. The trip to Israel does qualify. In the past, those scholarships have ranged in the vicinity of $300 per person. Application for these funds would be made not until the spring of 2023, and the decisions on those scholarships will be made on April the 15th. I inquired whether or not you could apply earlier. No, you cannot. There are certain cycles that these grants are issued, and you would wait until the spring of next year to apply for them. But my understanding is they're generally quite amenable to these requests and generous in their distribution. Also, we might be, there is an ABCOPAD grant process, which I've been speaking to our ABCOPAD staff about, and this grant would be available to all ABCOPAD travelers, clergy and laity alike. I am going to apply for these funds through our normal ABCOPAD grant program in the fall. I've not been given a guarantee, but I have pretty good assurances, and I am anticipating that a grant of $300 can be made available to each of the first 20 ABCOPAD registrations. I'll repeat that again. I have not been given a guarantee, but I am anticipating a grant of $300 to each of the first 20 ABCOPAD registrations. So that might alleviate some of the financial burden for this trip. So let's look at the registration and payment schedule. Registration is secured with a $100 registration fee sent in with your registration form. As previously mentioned, if this is received by June 16th, your final bill will receive a $150 discount. Your second deposit will be due $500 in November. A second deposit will be due in January, amounting to $1,200, and then full payment is due March 2nd of next year. So the payments are spread out over the course of almost 10 months. Registration is made through completing a form and submitting $100. Now, you can register online, which is highly recommended, or you can register by mail. Now, don't worry about that long URL code that you're looking at on the screen. I have already sent many of you an email with a direct link to this registration site. And it will also be much easier to access from our ABCOPAD website. So don't worry about that blue line. You'll never get that correct if you're like me. In either case, whether you register online or by mail, you must include the host ID number 51274. Without that ID number, you could end up traveling with a different tour group altogether. So this information is spelled out in the registration materials, but I want to emphasize that that number is rather important. So here's a question that some will ask. Will we be safe in the Holy Land? As stated here, no one can totally guarantee safety, not your church, your pastor, your doctor, or your dentist. However, we can say that you will be as safe on your journey to the land of the Bible as on a similar length trip to New York City or Washington, D.C. Now, how can EO make that claim? Well, there's several things you might want to remember. Security on planes bound for the Middle East is much more strict than flights within the USA. Security within Israel and Palestine is much more strict than within the USA. The crime rate in Israel and Palestine is much lower than the typical US city. In a small place, just 50 miles wide and 150 miles long, it's easy to keep a watchful eye on situations throughout the Holy Land. And since their first trip to Israel more than 30 years ago, there has not been a single major incident. Finally, no Christian pilgrim has been killed in Israel during the last 50 years. So I hope that those facts might help alleviate any of your concerns for safety. All this information is available on my EO website, and you have a link to that in the email which I recently sent to you. But I do have information packets available for those with that interest. I can mail you some hard copy if that would be your preference. Just send me your email and I can direct you either to the website or mail you a packet. You can access this information through the ABCOPAD website as well. And so there are multiple ways in which I can get this information into your hands. You'll want to have that to consider carefully and completely. So with that, there's my address, pretty easy. B. Russell, that's for Bud Russell, B. Russell at abcopad.com. And I can get that information to you ASAP. In fact, I have envelopes already stuffed and waiting to be addressed if you so desire a hard copy. So I'm going to stop now, and oh, there's some more information. That's kind of what the registration form looks like. You'll see that if you go to the website or get it in the mail. If you're wanting to go, obviously you want to sign up sooner rather than later to take advantage of those EO discounts, and also anticipating the grant that will hopefully be coming from our own region, ABCOPAD. That grant is only going to be available to the first 20 registrations. So sign up as soon as possible. You would sign up with your deposit of $100 along with the registration form. That registration form can be submitted electronically at the website or by snail mail. They must have it by June 16th. They must have it in their hand by June 16th, or you miss that first discount, and then you would fall back to the second discount. So probably easier and better to do this online if you're comfortable with that. Once you make your deposit and registration, I ask that you notify me. I should be notified by EO, but I want to make sure that their record is the same as my record. And so I would urge you to let me know by email that you have signed up, and I will make sure that my list is the correct list. Mark your calendar, protect that date. You don't want something unexpected to interfere and lose the opportunity to travel. I encourage you to invite a friend. Again, this is not closed to ABCOPAD members alone, but a friend or a family member might want to join you on this trip. It's always fun to share that with an acquaintance. And if you decide that you cannot go, it's just not going to be possible for you to go, perhaps you would inform a friend and let them know of the opportunity, and they may go in your place. And finally, pray about this. You want to pray about the decision, but also pray about the opportunity to travel there where Jesus walked, to prepare your heart and your mind and your spirit for what will be an incredible experience. So now I want to tease you with one more quick video.
Educational Opportunities Tours presents a journey of a lifetime to the Holy Land. Join fellow believers on a 10-day pilgrimage to explore, pray, and worship in the land of Jesus' life and ministry. Let the reality of his birth, death, and resurrection unfold before your very eyes. In Bethlehem, visit the cave revered to be Jesus' birthplace. Gaze out over Shepherd's Field, where the angels first proclaimed the good news. Imagine his childhood as you walk the streets of Nazareth. Follow the paths of his miracles. Remember the thousands he fed at the Church of the Fish and the Loaves. Perhaps renew your wedding vows in Cana, where many believe he turned water into wine. And sail across the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus calmed the storm. As you stand on the Mount of Beatitudes, recall his tender words. Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who mourn. Follow the events leading up to the Passion as you explore the Upper Room, the Garden of Gethsemane, the house of the High Priest Caiaphas, and the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Culminate the experience at the Jordan River, where you can renew your baptism. Meditate at the Mount of Olives, walk the Via Dolorosa, take communion at the Garden Tomb. With so much history and biblical significance to uncover in the region, EO offers several optional pre- and post-tour adventures. Soak up the treasures of the Nile on a multi-night cruise. Sense historical ripples of faith in Petra, Judea, or Samaria. Put yourselves in the shoes of an ancient Israelite fleeing Egypt on the route of the Exodus tour. Bring the Bible to life, enrich your faith. Discover the Holy Land with Educational Opportunities Tours for your Christian journey of a lifetime. Learn more and book your journey by contacting your local tour host or by contacting EO Tours at 800-247-0017 or www.eo.travel.